are they getting calls on Mac Jones?
To my knowledge, no. I mean, that doesn't mean, based on what happened this weekend with Kirk Cousins, that maybe something transpires at this point. But I don't think they would move him.
What would it take? What would it take for them to move him?
I think it would take a first-round pick to move him.
Yeah. Not even a second-round pick.
I think it'd be a first-round pick. I
so
think.
they're
Look,
not
I think
moving
there's still.
He's here.
Yeah.
We can't
take my chances.
Right,
I'll take my
right.
chances in the draft.
Well,
Thank you.
He's here.
I think ownership still thinks that there's something there.
Is this because of that?
Mm-hmm.
Because it sure doesn't seem like Bill Belichick thinks that there's something there.
Do you blame him?
Is it? Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is there a struggle right now between Bill Belichick and the Krafts still regarding Mac Jones?
Struggle's a strong word, but I don't think they're necessarily completely aligned with how that's going to go. And I think that ownership looked at last year and what happened last year with putting Patricia and Judge in charge of him and setting him back the way they did, the way, whether he did it intentionally or not, the way Bill embarrassed Mac Jones on that Monday night game against the Bears by benching him at halftime. Now you have the two situations this year where he's taking him out of games. Like there's ownership feels like there should be more there, and there is more there. And they've seen flashes of it even this year at points early in the season, obviously against the Bills, where they think like he's salvageable and there can be something there.
I don't know how you watch that game, though, and see the difference in the two quarterbacks that are playing and don't realize. Like,
Fred, you're talking – now, Fred, you got to be careful here because there are a lot of people here that think if you flip Tua and Mac would be doing the same thing Tua is doing.
We've had that discussion since day one about how absurd that is.
Not true at all.
But you see a kid in Mac Jones that if he, well, it's funny because Rich had the stats to back it up. But if you just watch the games, if he's rolling right and throws left, it's situation.
Disaster.
He can't do it. And then you look at Josh Allen, and he's running all over the place. And he's got, I mean, Allen's arm is 1,000. Allen's throwing 120, and Mac Jones throwing 70.
But to your point, I mean, I'm wondering, like, is there any reason why Bill hasn't put a decent backup behind Mac Jones? Because I'm wondering if this is almost like all right, well, if you don't want me to be a coach and have to make a decision to pull him during a game, Robert Kraft, then I'm just going to make it to where that's a decision I can't make because no one's going to be there waiting for him.
Yeah, I think that they didn't expect Zappe to go backwards this year.
But they had plenty of time to make another move after they knew.
Once you get into, let's say, whatever, you're in August now, August 20th, and you're looking at it and going, man, he wasn't really good in the spring, and now he hasn't been good in the summer. What's out there? Like, then you're sort of doing you're picking from the same trash heap that everybody else is.
Where no one got picked up. I mean, like that
Right.
whole Colt McCoy thing never came to fruition. Flacco, I mean, like all the garbage that was supposed to be out there, no one took.
Yeah, I mean, McCoy may end up getting a job this week because of Minnesota,
Oof.
and he has a relationship with Kevin O'Connell.
Wouldn't
but
you trade for Tannehill? I mean, if
the trading for a quarterback in season is so freaking hard.
Yeah, I know.
Because unless you're running like a very similar system, you're bringing in a guy who's been running the same thing, and now you got to here's
Right.
this whole different thing, and then you think he's going to be able to. Baker Mayfield went out there last year, right? Remember the prime example? The Rams got him like 2 days before a game, and he studied and
he was great, right? In his first game?
He was garbage until the fourth quarter.
That's
and then
right.
the fourth quarter, he like,
Yeah.
they just were like, just
well, that's
fling it.
just Baker, man.
Yeah,
That's just Baker.
This is true.
He's all attitude.
So I just think it's really
NWO.
hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like for instance, if you're the Jets and you said to yourself like, okay,
You can't. They can't.
Zach is,
They can't do that.
you could trade for Tannehill.
Yeah, but then you got Rodgers, and then you're paying.
Well, if you think Rodgers isn't making it back for this year,
No,
is
no.
my point. Because Tannehill's a free agent.
No, I get it, but then also you've invested all this in Wilson, and I don't understand. And then I don't know if they could do it. Look, I also don't know how you can't stop Saquon Barkley when you know he's getting the ball. I don't understand how you let DeVito score in the red zone.
Hey, you won the game.
What was it, 24 punts?
I did win the
26
game.
punts?
Thank you. I
Yes.
did win the game.
Congratulations.
They did win the game.
I didn't see him. I didn't.
Guy pulled the field goal left, and you won the game.
Can I bring up something? I have an itch I want to scratch. excuse making, right? First, it was the officiating. You know, our
Jesus.
Michael Hurley, our guy, I love Michael, but he's taken every video of the
I
thing
know,
and
I
like
That's shocking.
right.
Yeah,
And look, I even wrote a little bit about officiating, which I can't stand because it was inconsistent. But like, it's not why they lost.
No.
If I felt like in that game again, and I think we've been at this point at various times this year where, oh, they were close, they had the ball. It's like, no, that the other team was better. The other team, if they needed to like put their foot on the accelerator,
Yes.
would have done it. So there was that bothered me. But then there was also a thing making the rounds yesterday about all the guys that the Patriots have had who've missed time for injury this year. And obviously Judon and Gonzalez are big ones, right? That happened early in the year,
Sure.
week 3. And it was just like, oh my God, like it's no wonder they're 2-6 when you look at this list of players. And meanwhile, the list of players is like it's like juju's on the list. You know, like you start to look at the list and you're like, okay, yeah, there's a lot of players that haven't played, but really are those players any good? And then I think to myself, well, you just lost to a Dolphins team that had 4/5 of their starting offensive line not playing, and then had linemen go out during the course of the game. So then you had to the backups to the backups. We're talking so that for those counting at home, those are third stringers. Those guys aren't even supposed to be on rosters right now. They're supposed to be on practice squads. They won games without Jalen Phillips, who's their best pass rusher. Javon Holland, who's their best safety, who's one of the best young safeties in football. He didn't play in the game the other day. They beat you. And then I'm starting to think like the rest of the just the
Do you
division.
follow football?
Aaron Rodgers. Who's had a bigger loss than Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah.
Everything
Right.
that the Jets did this
have a
offseason
winning
was
record.
about. And
The Jets had a guy.
4-3.
The Jets had a guy in that game as terrible as or as great as that game was. They had a guy playing center that had I to my knowledge never played center before.
Right. Yep.
Backup
end of the game.
tailback that can't get on the field
And
and Dalvin Cook.
Oh, and
No,
then
no, but the center position was a real issue.
I understand.
Yeah.
It's just another thing.
And then the Bills, who Matt Milano, for people that don't follow the league as closely or whatever, Matt Milano was like a real defensive player of the year candidate.
Right.
He's an awesome player. He's their best. Like they have Von Miller. That Matt Milano is the best player on defense and the second best player on their team. So they lost Milano, Tre'Davious White, who's their number 1 corner, and Daquan Jones, who's a really good defensive
all
tackle
of
in the
these
same
teams
game.
are still
and they're
better
all,
than you.
They all
And then-
have winning records.
And then look at what the Lions did yesterday.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
and
they're-
what they were missing.
their
And-
7th combination on the offensive line.
Yes, and then the
And they're
lead
6-2.
back is out, and then so they just took their kid that he took in the first round, and then he went crazy.
So what I'm saying is take your injury excuses and shove them.
Yeah, well, that's just ignorance of the league. I mean, it's professional football. I mean,
Yeah, it's the
it was a
league.
mash unit at that dumb Meadowlands with stupid everyone getting hurt.